Hey everyone, welcome to the Comic Artist Pro Secrets channel here on YouTube. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, your host, artist at DC Comics, and let's do another commentary. I'd gotten 2 issues into Green Lantern Rebirth in terms of commentaries, and I went downstairs to look for issue number 3, and amazingly, I realized I didn't have a copy. I don't have a copy of my own book. And so I went on eBay and I ordered one and ordered a few other books that I realized I also didn't have. So instead, we're going to move on to the other Rebirth franchise from about 10 years ago, maybe a little, I think it was like 8 years ago. I think this was 2009, 2010. This is a big one. This is FLASH REBIRTH. Whoa. Like that. With my longtime collaborator Jeff Johns, and there's me. And after the massive success of Green Lantern Rebirth, DC wanted us to do more stuff together, obviously. Now, the whole time that I was working with Jeff on Sinestro Corps and putting together Blackest Night, I'd been talking to Dan DiDio every chance that I got, and I kept saying to him, let us have Barry Allen back. He's been dead for a long time, and I really think that, whatever problems are going on with the Flash franchise right now, because the book just isn't connecting, it's not selling, whatever problems that there might be would really be solved if we could just kind of put everything, all the pieces back to where they were. And yeah, I mean, he died an honorable death in Crisis, but that was 20 years ago, and most of today's fans have never read that story and don't know Barry Allen, so this would be kind of a new experience for them. Enough time has gone by. We can reset things, and I was told over and over again that Barry's death was honorable, and it was a important moment in the DC's history, and so we're going to leave it alone. Well, one day Jeff Johns called me up and told me that, hey, Ethan, they said, yes, we get to bring back Barry Allen. We're going to do Flash Rebirth. Are you in? And let me tell you something, I was in like Flynn. Flash Rebirth was born at that point. Now, this cover here was something else. I was tasked with coming up with a nice piece of promotional art that would, basically sell the book and sell what we were trying to do. And the thing about Flash is that most of his issue number 1 covers, or most of his covers in general, are just him kind of running at the camera with various other background elements. And I couldn't see myself doing that. I was tired of it. It just seemed like it had happened so often. It was such a repetitive image that wasn't very stimulating. And it hit me. How great would it be just to show him at the beginning of, at the starting line? Okay, here he is. He's pulling up his boot, and he's saying, "We're going to get ready to run now. This is issue number 1. Let's get ready to run." And I remember penciling this up. I was deeply influenced by this great page, a nice splash page from Frank Miller's Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is basically hunched over. He's big in the frame. He fills the whole page, and that's kind of what I wanted to do here. So I found a way to make Barry Allen fill the entire page, hunched over, pulling up his boot, crouched over, and getting ready to lead us on an incredible adventure, which is what I think we accomplished. Everyone loved it. Everyone loved it. Colored by Moose Bauman. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal success. They made posters of it. Everybody was very happy. And I still consider this to be one of my best, most iconic covers. I think they tributed it at least once on the Flash TV show on the WB. So that was great as well. So let's open the book. Now, at this point in my career, I decided I am inking everything that I do from now on. No longer will I allow my pencils to be turned over to an inker. I'm going to take control and do it all by myself. And, that's kind of where I've been ever since. So this entire series, I did all of the ink work, which was great. So here we have 2 scientists in a lab, in the very same lab, we're going to learn, where Barry Allen was created. And this was something interesting that I did. Rather than Jeff and I rather than start out running and start out with just an action-packed scene. I wanted stillness. I wanted somebody just standing there and watching. And so that's what this is. Now, we talk about statted panels, and Jeff had asked in the original script, actually, to cut to close-ups between these two. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't think they were very important. What I wanted to do instead was make us feel like voyeurs. Again, this is my Alfred Hitchcock influence. We are now the man who is standing outside of this window, outside in the hallway, looking into this lab. And I had to redraw this over and over and over again. There are 0 stats here. I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been insane. I had to draw every bottle, every beaker, every shelf, everything, over and over and over again over the next 2 and I think 2.5 pages. So we'll see. I can't remember how many times I drew this, but these guys are moving around. They're talking to each other. They're looking at lab results. And in the meantime, we're looking in and we're shifting on our feet. Okay, we're stalking these 2 guys. Let me turn the page. And here we are. We're still there. You see, we're just kind of shifting. They're having a conversation. They're talking about things. And then there's our hand. It's almost like another influence was Halloween, the original Halloween, where we're looking through Mike Myers' eyes, and we just see his hand kind of do things, like we're in his body, and he enters the room, and it looks like he's got some kind of wand here. This is a pointer, a weapon which he uses to murder viciously both scientists. Again, my murder scenes are quite brutal and very realistic, leaving them bloody on the ground. We're pulling the right chemicals out. Again, we're still this guy. For some reason, we are this man. We're looking through his eyes. And he stands there holding onto the shelf of chemicals and holding this wand, which is coated in molybdenum, out the window. The clock, meanwhile, is about to hit a certain time. You'll notice that the hands of the clock are shaped in the same kind of angle as Flash's lightning bolt symbol. We're just waiting for this second hand to tick down so that it's actually a perfect Flash symbol when suddenly 2 cops burst in. And at that moment, of course, the clock has ticked to the right time and lightning flashes through, breaking all the bottles, hitting this guy, getting him splashed with chemicals, and we know who this is. This is Professor Zoom, and he is reliving the Flash's origin here, basically. Now, the thing about Professor Zoom, and we never got to explain this in the actual book itself, but that's kind of what this channel is for. This is called Comic Artist Pro Secrets, so we're going to do some of that stuff now. Professor Zoom's his lightning rod, which is actually a pointer. I took the word professor very seriously. I wanted him to be very much like an academician. Did I get that word right? Who knows? But I wanted him to be like that. He is a professor. He's a teacher and a scholar. His wand is coated in a metal called molybdenum, and this is the element on the periodic table, exposed to oxygen, and element Z, which is the lightning. There we go. Oh, actually, it would be like that, I think. But anyway, this is Zoom backwards. So he is literally the reverse Flash or Zoom. And that's where that came from. And we never talked about that. We never really got into it in the book. But there's a true fact for you. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We see the heroes. This was the villains. Everybody's Flash parade. And here we cut to the JSA. This is certainly a lot of fun to draw. Again, I'm inking myself. I'm enjoying myself. I'm drawing all the hot dogs. I'm drawing picnic food, all-American picnic food. Look at this delicious cake with blueberries and whipped cream on the side. A nice picture of lemonade, hot dogs, watermelon. This is a good time. This is all-American. Oh, yeah. Man, this was fun. This book was great fun to draw. Yeah, here's this moment from a different angle. Famous Flash of Two Worlds situation. I got to draw it from the side, which was cool, and drawn in such a way that we can't see Barry's face. We don't know Barry yet. Like, even though we know him, we're obscuring him. We're saving his return to the big moment. So I didn't even want to show his face. And here again, we didn't want to see his face. We're talking about him like he's a legend. He's unknowable. These guys certainly miss him. This banner here says "Welcome back, Barry," but of course it's cut off here, so it actually says "Come back, Barry," but this word balloon covers it. Come back, Barry. That is our plea. Um, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, a big thing here with the Flash was that Wally West was the Flash, and they were trying to relaunch his book. Mark Waid did this thing where he had these two kids with his wife, and they had superpowers, and that was a relaunch of the Flash title. Kind of, it was a new era of Flash books where it was, Wally is a dad, and here are his two kids, and they have superpowers, and it didn't really work that well. But we had these pieces in place, so we wanted to use them, and we'll talk about how we did that. I thought we made some pretty good choices. Here's my friend Bart Allen. I started my career at DC drawing this gentleman here, this fellow. I'm still drawing him like Impulse. A lot of Umberto Ramos influence. Umberto would sort of draw these very rounded kind of heads, and Bart had a lot of baby fat on his cheeks, and I kept that even though I'm drawing him more realistically. He's still got Bart's hair. I want him to still look like Impulse as much as possible. And then we clip over here, and here is beautiful Iris West Allen. Here's a callback to Flash Iron Heights that Jeff and I did together. There's Murmur, Mr. Element. Jeff wanted that. I remember that. And here is, I believe, Iris's mother, who looks a lot like Martha Stewart, because I think I actually used photo reference. I said, I think she looks like an older Martha Stewart. So that's where that came from. Very careful to draw a very classy, nice, clean kitchen here. She's on the phone. She's busy. I love that just there's so many opportunities to just tell who these people are, just in panels where they're on the phone. She's a busy woman. She's pushing the hair out of her face, and then she gets a shock. Barry's back, and her hair just falls down sloppily over her eyes. It's very cute. I love drawing these characters' wives for the first time, or their love interests. This I was very proud of. This is our introduction of Barry Allen. He's alive again. He's not in costume. He looks like a great guy. He's a very tall, handsome. He dresses really well, and he's in the Flash Museum. And nobody knows who he is. He's a man at a time. They're all on their phones. They're not paying attention to him. This is a world that has gone on without him, and people are on their cell phones, bumping into him, not realizing that the man that they're here to pay tribute to, his legacy, is standing right in front of him. And he's not sure he likes it. He's not sure he likes it, but here we go. Here are some buddies meeting up for the first time in a long time together. And Hal doesn't like it either. He's also, not necessarily comfortable in this new fast-paced world. Isn't that interesting that Barry Allen is still the kind of slow gentleman that he's always been, and the world is fast. Even though he's a man who can move at near light speed, he finds people's short attention spans to be nearly intolerable. Walking and catching up with his buddy. I love this right here. This was another great opportunity to just make my Silver Age heart glow. Here he's catching up with what he missed. I just said, you know what? Use other artists here. I mean, that's Scott Collins. I can't think right now of who these other artists are, their work, but I'm sure that you guys recognize them. Taking a trip into the Iron Heights room. This was fun because we got to redraw all the characters that we created together, just as displays. You see Barry just moving around, zipping around at super speed, catching up. Here's Girder. I loved Girder. It's a lot of fun. And the two guys who both like to wear rings. Again, here's Impulse. All this was so fun because I got to revisit these characters that I was so familiar with. I love them so much. I got to draw Impulse the way I would draw Impulse in his old comic, cartoony. This was interesting. This is really sophisticated, these two panels. I like them a lot. Barry's vibrating. He's not really paying attention. Hal's trying to cheer him up. He's trying to talk to him. I actually stole this layout. I was watching 24 Season 1. And there was a great scene where it was just a conversation, and I just thought it'd be interesting to actually start like putting real kind of camera shots, like how things are told on TV, how they're storyboarded out, how they're framed on TV, into my work for boring like conversation scenes where there would just be talking heads. And so these two scenes I actually, as an experiment, lifted from that episode of 24. Just in terms of the layout, like here was a character's head and their ear on this side of the TV, and then here's this character talking, and then we cut to a reaction shot back over this character's head. And I think it looked really good. I never did it again. I should have. But that was effective. Too quickie. I'll skip these. Oh my god, I got to draw every single Flash villain that I could think of. And they're just walking through this hallway here. These are all of the enemies. And look, looming over. Oh yeah, we're going to see more of this guy soon. Fun stuff here. I got to draw Hal using his ring to kind of tweak Barry Allen. And this was the moment right here. I mean, I waited a long time to do this, and here it is. I mean, Barry just popping that ring. I love this. Just let's make this as heroic as I can. One thing that I love about superheroes more than anything is the change. Okay, I like when the civilian rips open his shirt or spins around in a circle, does a pirouette like Wonder Woman, or when Hal Jordan just lights up in his costume, kind of like flames onto his body over his clothes. I love that. There's nothing better than that. The Hulk does it really well when Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk. This is Barry Allen's change moment, and as a superhero aficionado and fan since I was a kid, this was the moment I was dying to draw. And you can see him just zip, 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 put on the costume all the way down to this frame. Now this panel here alone took 2 days. 2 days of work just to get it right. It's very, very detailed. The color over it, I'm not thrilled with. I don't like how I was hoping it would look better. It just looks kind of smeared and blurry. I understand what they were going for. I don't think it worked that well. And then, so here he is. And then, so in one motion, in one swooping motion, like this. Okay, we're in costume, and then zip right past Hal. Sorry, pal. You could give chase if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be able to. Well, maybe he would. I don't know if Hal would be able to catch up. And here we're trying new things with the Flash. Let's see. Everything's experimentation. If you're trying to create a classic book, you don't want to do things the way other people did them. You want to find new effects, new ways to make these characters just rock on the page. And here was me just using multiple images now. Okay, we're going to see echoes of his limbs as they're in motion. I don't know how much I like it. It's okay. I don't know if it's as successful, but it's an attempt at something new. And for that, I was happy to give it a shot. His legs become young Barry's legs. I said to Jeff when I got this page, young Barry is about to find out that his dad perhaps murdered his mother, but at the very least his mother's dead inside. And I said, he's a runner, he's going to be a runner, he's known for being a runner, so I'm going to have him break that police tape like it's the finishing line. It's kind of a sick joke, but it's cute, it's cool. I think it's kind of clever. Jeff thought it was funny. The same gag got reused by Francis Manipool on the cover of Flash #1 when he took over. So we recycled this little bit, except with Flash instead of young Barry, and that was just fine. Yeah, this is terrible, terrible sadness here. And then we see Savitar. It was fun to draw him. I really played up. I made him ugly. He's a believable character, but look at his teeth. I like to do weird things with characters' teeth. It's a lot of fun. We talk in the drawing section in one of the earlier videos about always remembering that there's a skull underneath the heads, and so you want to go ahead and emphasize characteristics that might come from that. Savitar, kind of a loser villain. We wipe him out. Yeah. I'd say he's not coming back from that. I mean, it's possible, but... And then the last page, Barry just... what the hell did I just do? Just trying to bring himself to a halt as he actually physically comes through Savitar's incinerated remains. It's vicious. Look at even the leg bone is still attached to the boot right here too. Dreadful, terrifying, as all of the other Speed Force related characters react suddenly in pain. What is going on? And then we have a nice sampler in the back here of Amanda Connor's Power Girl series, which I'm sure was appreciated by all. And an ad for next issue, Flash Rebirth #2. Now, this book was a monstrous success. I'm not sure that it was necessarily always a critical success. There were some things that people did like about it and didn't like about it when they read it. I mean, Green Lantern Rebirth was universally praised. Sinestro Corps, universally praised. This, people were a little bit more skeptical of. They were a little bit harder on it. However, that didn't stop it from going to a second printing, and then a third printing, which I don't have a copy of, and then a fourth printing, and then a fifth printing. This thing was a steamroller success that made DC Comics a lot of money and got people very excited about the Flash again. And they couldn't wait for issue #2. So you're going to have to, however. I will I will be back tomorrow to give you commentary for Flash Rebirth #2. And we'll go through all of that and all the backstory behind it and anything that's hidden therein. And any thought processes that I had that I'd like to share with you during the making of it. I'm very proud of this book. I'm very proud of this image. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this commentary track. If you did, please subscribe, hit that bell so you can get alerts from me. We can stay in touch. And leave commentary below, leave messages in the comments section for me. I read them all. I'm excited about getting them. This channel has been doing wonderfully. I'm looking right now, I have almost 1,000 subscribers. We've only been together for 4 days. This is really very, very exciting for me, and I want to thank you all for being a part of it. So there you go. You can find me on Twitter at Ethan Van Sciver if you'd like to. And I will see you again later with another drawing lesson. Let's do Perspective Part 2. Okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.